If there's one thing I've learned in life, it is that nothing is permanent. Things happen and things change, and because of this, we all have to face new beginnings over and over, whether we like it or not. After the terror attack, we were rescued. I was taken to a hotel nearby. I was one of the last people to arrive, and some of us had been there for hours already. Walking off the bus, what met us were hundreds of people crying in shock, scared. There were scenes of broken hearts when the person they were waiting for did not get off the bus. And there were scenes of joy when people ran towards us screaming, "I thought you were dead." The families of the 564 children on the island started to arrive from all over Norway, and at 4 a.m., my family finally arrived. Just minutes later, the police announced that they thought around 80 people were killed on the island. We tried to comfort each other the best way we could, but it was unbearable. Then my mom remembers me saying, "I feel so sorry for all those people who have never lost anyone before. They don't know that the sun will rise again tomorrow morning and that one day we will smile again." Because even in the darkest of hours, I knew that even though life will never be the same, we will find a new normal. My first experience with loss was at the age of 7 when my uncle drowned. Then a couple of years later, my grandfather died of cancer. And then when I was 12, my dad drowned while he was out fishing. The same day, someone said to me, "Lisa, you will be angry. You will feel that life is unfair, but this will only make you stronger. It will not break you if you refuse to be broken." And I actually thought that I would never smile again after my dad died, but you do. You keep on living the best way you can. And my life, after all that loss, turned out to be a great one. I went on to do very well in school, I had great friends, I was active in politics, I was the head of the student council, and I traveled a lot, and I was generally very happy. And then when I finished high school, I got a job where one of my responsibilities was to work on the annual summer camp on the island of Utøya. And Utøya is a stunningly beautiful island. It's a place for young people to discuss politics, but most importantly, it's a place to make new friends, have fun, and enjoy summer. After the bomb went off in Oslo, I called my mom, and the first thing she said was, "I think you guys are the next target." Seconds later, I heard something that sounded like fireworks, and a huge group of people came running towards me. I freaked out, and we started to run through the forest to this little cabin where I knew we could hide. We rushed in, and then the shock just overwhelmed me. If you've never been in shock before, it's absolutely nuts. Knowing that people were being shot outside, all I could think about all of a sudden was, where the heck did I leave my handbag? Did I leave it out in the rain just now? Could someone steal it? And I kept asking people, "Do you think people will steal my bag?" And they were like, "What?" So I did what all non-rational people would do in this sort of situation. I ran straight back out into the forest. The people in the cabin yelled, "If you leave now, we'll lock this door and you have to find somewhere else to hide." Then a girl came running with her arm up in the air, screaming, "I've been shot! I've been shot!" So I followed her back into the cabin, and they locked the door behind us. This picture is actually taken during the terror attack inside the cabin. And once we got inside, all we could do was just wait, while we listened to the gunshots. Then suddenly, we heard from the outside, "Police, open the door!" And someone shot through the window. We all thought he got in, and we said goodbye to each other. But nothing happened. He left, and he kept shooting somewhere else. The shooting went on for over 1.5 hours, and then it just got silent. After 2 hours, someone broke down the door to the cabin and stormed it. We didn't know that they were there to save us, and they didn't know if we were all dead or taken hostage. Some of us were so exhausted at this point and shouted, "Just kill us already, we're done." But they were actually there to rescue us. After 3 hours inside the cabin, we were finally evacuated. The police told us to run down to the docks with our hands on our head and to look down. They didn't want us to see the results of the shooting because there were dead and injured people everywhere. I was still in shock at this point, and I saw a guy shot through his eye, screaming in pain, blood everywhere. And I remember thinking, oh, poor guy. He fell in a bucket of red paint. And I keep running. And he actually survived. A boat came and took us over to the mainland, and what met us were at least 10 dead people covered in blankets. The reality of the shooting just hit us all in the face, and people fell to their knees and cried when we had to walk past the bodies on the shore. I remember trying to recognize their shoes in case there were any of our friends lying there dead. Many of my closest friends were on that island that day, and not all of them came back. We actually had to choose which funerals to go to because there were too many on the same day. I spoke at my friend's funeral, and then I had to rush out before it was over to be able to attend my best friend's funeral. I still struggle to understand how someone so important, so clever, amazing, kind can be taken away with only one single bullet to the head. But only those forgotten can truly be gone. And today I try to live my life the best way possible in memory and honor of those who were not allowed to live theirs. After seeing a lot of different psychologists after the terror attack, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. And PTSD hits everyone differently. With me, it started with horrible nightmares. Then I could have flashbacks during the day that could last minutes at a time. All of this made me so tired that I fell asleep everywhere, even at work, during meetings, at parties. Because you feel everything you do is just on autopilot. I was observing my life go by, but I had no involvement in it whatsoever. I was existing, but I wasn't living. I lost the ability to track things and plan, and my insurance company emailed me and said that they would give me £10,000. All I had to do was give them my bank details. I couldn't do it. They called again and said, we just need your bank details. I couldn't physically gather the energy to do it. The third time they said, we won't contact you again, and my mom helped me. Because nothing feels important anymore. You lose interest in everything. I could see my friends go off to university and have fun. I couldn't stand them anymore and their perfect lives. But you get used to the symptoms after a while, and you just live with them. Slowly, I adapted to going back to my old life. I got a job, I bought an apartment, I was the leader of a political party. I ran an election campaign, I was on the city council, I ran for mayor at one point. But I was deeply unhappy and sick. I had PTSD, I was depressed, I had anxiety, and I was in so much physical pain. In the end, I was doing so much that I wasn't able to do anything. And one day I just fell apart. I went on sick leave, I gave up on politics, I quit everything. I was sicker now in 2013 than ever before. My biggest goal at this point was to be on sick leave and benefits forever. The first step in the right direction was to accept that I was struggling and that I needed help. Someone put me in contact with the Center for Complex Disorders, and I started to go twice a week. I was diagnosed with a widespread muscle disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder again, and depression. The road to recovery was long, and I kept going for over a year. I had to address issues far out of my comfort zone, but it was good to finally be honest. Because when I started, I was so angry, and I was so tired of everything. I wanted to feel sorry for myself and to be a victim, because that way no one could expect anything from me. But I was able to understand that I couldn't be defined by one single event. I was more than just a terror attack victim. I also realized that I was telling people that I was fine. I wasn't doing it for my own sake, but because I thought most people, they don't really want the truth. But life is difficult. Life is hard, and sometimes it's bloody miserable. Why do we keep covering it up? I started to tell the truth without being too negative. I'm not doing well at the moment, but I'm working on it. I was even open in the media about it, and the reactions I got back was incredible. People were thanking me for being open, for being strong, for being able to say what they couldn't. Because why is it that it's so difficult to talk about mental illness? We have a physical health, we have a mental health. It's all part of human life. Even Prince Harry and the royal family has just admitted that they have a mental health. I think we should be able to do it too. And after the terror attack in Norway, we changed. A generation started to be more open about the scars that no one could see. But a lot of us got told, just get over it already. It's not like you actually got hurt. And that is the mentality when it comes to mental health problems. What you can't see doesn't really exist. But with openness comes understanding. And with understanding, it's easier not to feel isolated. Because in isolation, everything seems worse because you think you're alone, but you're not. And after I was starting to be open, people were rooting for me to get better, and the help from my friends and family pushed me in the right direction. And I knew that we can always blame things outside of ourselves for the parts of our life we don't like. I could live in misery for the rest of my life and feel sorry for myself, but for what? I knew that I had to let go of the past to be able to embrace the future. And it started with small things. I just focused on what used to make me happy in the past, and I did more of that. I used to love sunsets and traveling and animals, volunteer work, cooking, concerts, especially Bruce Springsteen concerts. I used to love nature, and I tried to fill my days with things that I knew would make me happy. It could be very small things, like hanging out with baby goats, which is my favorite thing in the world. It could be cooking a nice meal for a friend or go for a lovely walk. Or it could be bigger things that would end up on my bucket list of the 100 things I wanted to do before I died. And I knew that a lot of these things would take years to accomplish, and some of them might never happen, but at least it kept pushing me in the right direction. And I think it helped because I'm currently having my own TEDx talk, which is on that bucket list. I started to work on my book last year, which I hopefully will finish one day. And I've been traveling a lot, and I've tried to do new things. I went hot air ballooning. It was incredible. And I've always wanted to take my siblings alone on a holiday, and we made that happen. And they don't know that I'm using this picture today. You're welcome, guys. It's going to be here forever. And then, after visiting several countries, including the United States, and seeing him live 20 times, it was finally my turn to get up on stage with the boss himself. And that was a massive dream come true. Being next to Bruce, jumping and dancing, is just incredible. And now, I'm here in St. Andrews, and that is very special to me, because after the terror attack, I wasn't even able to read a book. I tried to go back to university twice, but failed. And I never thought that I would be able to study again. But my boyfriend believed in me, and now I'm here, and it's so incredible. But just because he got back on the horse once, doesn't mean that it's easy to stay on it. I still don't cope well with stress. I need more time on my exams and my assignments. And sometimes I get really upset and down because it looks so easy for everyone else here. But then I remind myself that all that matters in the end is that I'm happy and that I'm trying my best. And it's hard work to stay happy and healthy, but it's worth it. A hero of mine was always very good at staying positive and making the most out of life. My stepbrother was diagnosed with brain cancer back in 2011, and he used to love skiing and hunting and playing football, playing the guitar. So when half his body got paralyzed, He didn't feel sorry for himself or stop living. Instead, he made a device so he could go hunting with one arm. He started playing the keyboard instead of the guitar. He altered his car so he could still drive. He was never defeated by what life threw at him. Instead, he just kept on pushing and looked at it as new beginnings. And because of this, we never saw him as being sick or different. He died 1st of January this year, and it's heartbreaking. It's unfair. But he taught me that you may not be able to control what happened in life, but you can always control how you respond to it. And that is his legacy. Some of us get dealt a really bad hand in life and have to experience a lot of bad days. I can choose to worry about another terror attack happening or another family member dying, but I have no control over it. Every day when I wake up, I choose to not be scared and not be angry, even though I have a lot of reasons to. I don't ignore or minimize the hardship of the world, but neither do I allow it to dominate. And I can never recall being more happy than I am right now in this moment. Is that because my life has been perfect and carefree? No. It's because I made a deliberate choice to be happy. Life is just a set of new beginnings, but the outcome of these beginnings are entirely up to ourselves. Thank you.